Hi, my name is Andrew Kinnear. I'm the founder of Freebruary. Thanks for joining us for this limited interview series with entrepreneurs from across Canada. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi, my name is Jamie Draves. I'm the president, CEO, and founder of Quinta Quinoa.
Amazing. Thanks for being here, Jamie. I'm really excited to talk to you about quinoa today, or how I like to remember how to spell it, quinoa.
We're trying to aim for the angle of just ask for Quinta. Makes it so much easier.
Just ask for
Quinta, and you
Easier
get the best quinoa on the market.
Yeah, best stuff. It's from here. You're from Ontario, right? Tell me where you're from.
Northern Ontario, from a small town called Cochrane. That's where I was born. And we currently live in Georgetown.
Amazing. Okay. So Georgetown, which is like almost the GTA at this point, right? You're Halton Hills.
Easy now. Not quite there yet.
You don't want to be part of the GTA yet.
No, I still prefer to be a little more rural than GTA yet, but it's pretty nice and close when you need it.
Yeah. I lived in Georgetown for a brief period when I was a child. We went from Guelph to Georgetown to Acton to Collingwood. So we sort of did a little tour. So I can say I used to live in Georgetown.
Gotcha.
So
you're local to many communities.
I'm local to many communities. Yeah, exactly. Now you are not actually farming in Georgetown. Tell me where this quinoa comes from.
So we grow it across multiple places in Ontario. So a little bit of background. This was the first ever Ontario commercial grown quinoa that we developed naturally. And so we've grown in multiple different places, predominantly Southwestern Ontario and Northern Ontario. Those are the main locations where we grow. Places around Mount Forest, places around Matheson and Cochrane, Ontario, and then also in more Southern Ontario locations. We do now also grow in other provinces, but that's our focus is the main ones we have in Ontario.
And tell me and the viewers a bit about quinoa itself. Is it a seed? Is it a grain? Nobody knows.
It's complicated. It's complicated, Andrew. It's a seed that's a pseudo cereal. So pseudo cereals means pretend cereals. So it's cooked, treated. We eat it like it's a cereal grain, but it's actually just a seed. Okay. And so what comes with that is the fact that there's it's gluten-free. For one. Mm-hmm. Number two is you get all these different or higher levels of minerals and nutrients within the seed itself. So that's quinoa in general. Our Quinta Quinoa is far superior in protein. It's got twice the fiber and 2 to 4 times the minerals like iron and calcium and zinc and magnesium.
How can your quinoa be different than, say, somebody else's quinoa, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start at the beginning. So back in 2007, I went through a health crisis where I was diagnosed with idiopathic pancreatitis. So essentially no known cause, cure, treatment. It's a big word that means we have no clue. Wow. After 2 surgeries and losing a third of my pancreas, I was written off by traditional medicine. And I had 2 young kids at the time. I wasn't quite ready to give up yet. So I went out and developed my own healthcare team and saw everybody I could. And I was losing weight at the time. I was down to about 130 pounds. And my days were, I'd get fatigued and nauseous and ill, have to lay down. And that was kind of cycled 3 or 4 times a day. So I was low functioning. And so I went out, built my own healthcare team. We formulated a health plan that focused on a very restricted diet. And when I started eating quinoa every day, that's when my weight stabilized. I stopped losing weight. And so that was the beginning of my pathway back to health. And the trigger event for me to sort of, I almost call it a second life, for my passion and pursuit to naturally develop higher nutrient quinoa, the first one to be grown here in Ontario. And so I went out and one of the things we did is we spent a lot of time on focusing of naturally breeding a variety that was higher in minerals and nutrients. And actually we're aiming for protein, and serendipitously we got some other stuff with it, but also the production practices that we have learned to do here in Canada, and the fact that our soils are much richer in a lot of the minerals gives us this great combination of how we grow it, of what we've been able to produce naturally, and what is there in the soils that give us that big edge and that massive difference in our nutrient profile versus all other quinoas.
Amazing. And so, like farmers have done for centuries, you're picking the stuff you like, replanting that, picking the stuff you like. So you're essentially
and different varieties,
different varieties, and
that's
getting where you want to be. That's fantastic.
There's always a bit of luck too, right?
Yeah. and it seems like it's something where, as you said, it's a pseudo cereal. So it could have gone down the road of, bulk, big bags, no brand, but Quinta is, beautiful packaging. It's on the shelf. It's something competing with, the rices and the other, starches, I guess, right?
Yep.
When it comes to me making dinner, is it rice? Is it potatoes? Is it quinoa? Is it something else? So quinoa is right in there.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about how the Quinta brand came to be.
And actually for Quinta and ours can be a choice for proteins too, right? It's one of the best,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, best plant protein options. And actually our quinoa, differentially than the other ones, has a protein profile of essential amino acids that's pretty much on par with eggs, which is the gold standard for proteins.
So is it even a starch, or is it's a protein?
It's more of a protein than a starch. The starches that are in it are quite small, which is very good for your gut profile.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it's a fantastic protein source, and a good alternative for anybody if you're looking. And quinoa is one of the few plant-based proteins that is a complete essential amino acid profile, and ours is even better than that. So the brand, a little bit of prelude there, but the brand. We named it Quinta because it's kind of an acronym for quinoa in North America, and a little easier to say than quinoa. So we thought, it's a good opportunity there. And so we really wanted to build the brand up because part of our big mission in this, and it's part of the serendipity of having such a fabulous product, is we do feel a responsibility to our community, and that is to get quinoa to people who need it the most. So that's part going retail, and the other part of that, and controlling all those elements that we know we've controlled so far to make sure that the quality is there. And so one part is the retail aspect. The other part is we are active in food banks and kids nutrition programs, all those type of dynamics. We're a circular economy company now, so we look to repurpose a lot of what we have, and climate change, carbon credits. We are very involved in all of that as a company. So all those things help us develop the brand and who we are and our identity within our communities. And I'm a very community-oriented person that way, growing up in a small town, Northern Ontario. So those things are important to me and important to the values of our company. And, even so this is our brand here. It's one of our small bags that we have with the Quinta Quinoa. And this was developed by myself and my good friend from kindergarten from years ago. From Cochrane. So we came together to develop the packaging that we've won a couple awards on, which we're proud of.
It's great. Yeah.
And glad to be differentiated.
Yeah. It looks awesome on the shelf, which I think is important. It's recognizable. The colors, we're food entrepreneurs. So we're thinking about packaging and claims and what it looks like on the shelf. And so that's great. I mean,
and I've always kind of gone by the mantra, if you want to be noticed, you got to be noticeable.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Side note, my favorite thing about quinoa is how when you eat it, it sort of like pops in your mouth, almost like that sort of springiness. Yep. I don't know what's that. Is there a technical term for that? Like from mouthfeel?
The springiness sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that's
that soft springiness sounds good.
It's a neat differentiator for quinoa versus like rice that kind of just like mushes, or potatoes that just turn into mush, or other proteins that are, if it's meat or eggs, or totally different.
Yeah. And it also can go with anything, right?
Yeah. Throw it on a salad or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, and soups, it's great just to throw in a soup and boost its nutrient protein values.
I go the other way. I put a little bit of soup stock in the quinoa to like just bump up the flavors.
Yeah. My favorite way to eat it is right when it's done. So when you cook quinoa, you should always get the steam, release the steam a bit. So you turn it over a few times to get rid of the steam, because then as doing so, it'll take on the flavors of whatever you add to it, which surprised me the first time the chef said, your quinoa is very bland. It has a slight nutty flavor, but it's very bland. And I thought, oh, that's terrible. And he's like, no, that's awesome, because you can put it in anything and do anything with it, and it'll take on that flavor. But my favorite is when it's nice and hot like that. I'll take it out and I'll put some, I use goat butter, but you can use any kind of butter, and maple syrup and some salt. It is fabulous. It's like a salty caramel quinoa, and it's my favorite way to eat it.
Do you guys do things like recipe videos or any of that kind of stuff in your marketing?
We haven't done many videos, but our website has over 100 fabulous recipes.
Okay.
And actually, we're just launching our new website the next couple of days, and it has an easy way now to navigate. If you want a snack, a breakfast, a parfaits, a soup, a salad, it's all there, and there's tons of options to use.
I'm going to overlay the website in the black bar at the bottom here, so everyone will see that. And you say a couple of days, who knows when people will watch this video. So I'm sure the website will be up, and there might be other stuff, and like, virtual reality cooking, or, who knows.
I like that idea. That sounds good. And we show you how to cook. There is a couple video recipes, I should say that. And there's a recipe of exactly how to cook it up, so you get a really nice quinoa every time. And ours is nice and fluffy when it comes up. It's not sticky. It's not that bitter flavor. It works really nice that way for taste profile.
Okay, I want to go back, a few years before you started this company, before this became a business. Back when it was, you had your health crisis, you were solving your health crisis, quinoa is the answer. And then you must have gone through some thinking that was like, I'm going to be a farmer. I'm going to sell the thing I farm. I'm going to put it in bags. Like, there was a bit of a journey there. Now it's Quinta. Can you tell me, like, what's something that you wish someone had told you back then about the food business or the business you're in, or even the farming aspect, that, you would impart as wisdom onto some other entrepreneur?
That's a tough one. I think to start, it was more so, how do I become a farmer? How do I get this? And how do I get that? I think the passion has to be there. If you're in the food business, like, let's face it, the margins are small. The initial capital costs are massive. The infrastructure is okay to not great, set up for local businesses. We even run into now where they'll charge more for us to be in because we're a local business than our competitors coming from South America, and some chains, some do help us out. So I think that it's challenging. It's difficult. I think you have to enjoy learning, and I think you have to enjoy, our big motto is find a way. And we've had so many huge setbacks. The emotional ones are the hardest. And you have to learn to really just focus on you have to be passionate about what you're doing, but the way you operate really needs to be passionless and about the right business decisions, and always keeping your options open. It's been a long journey. I've grown so much, literally and figuratively, and in my knowledge of things, and the challenges have been fantastic. And, I just take a lot of pride in our ability to get this product and help people. We have tremendous stories of people that, their lives have changed from eating our quinoa. That's not everybody, but even getting a few of those is incredibly uplifting, and makes you realize that you're making a difference out there with some people.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think making the difference, and hearing that from a customer too, even if it's just an email saying, oh, my daughter couldn't eat whatever, and we found Quinta Quinoa and it tastes great. That's enough to fill your bucket for the day, right? And be like, wow, okay.
For a long, it has to fill more than a day. But no, absolutely.
Till the next one comes in. They got to keep coming in.
Because there's enough little setbacks in between, right?
Yeah.
But I think one of them that sticks out of my mind was a woman, I think she was from the Cochrane area, but up north, who wrote a really long, fabulous feedback that said, I've spent the last 8 years being incredibly challenged by the food I was eating and getting sick from it and not feeling well. And I eat your quinoa now every day, and I haven't felt this good in 8 years. And thank you so much for making me feel, and it could have been a lot of things. We have very high, our iron is more than liver, our calcium is more than cow's milk, and they're readily available minerals. So any one of those things can contribute, but having an impact even on one person that way is incredibly gratifying.
Amazing. I want to know what's next for Quinta in the coming, say, 12 months. You can take me anywhere you want to go. What's next for you guys?
We continue to expand. So we are in, I think it's close to 700 stores across the country now.
Okay. So retail footprint expansion.
Yeah, we still want to expand the retail footprint. We're I guess a little bit unique as a local product because we compete against a commodity South American product or global product. So that there's challenges in that for us. But we do believe we can expand. We are starting to expand into the US. We are expanding as well with our kids nutrition programs. We did a lot of stuff with the food bank. So the Feed Ontario, we did during COVID, we did, I think it was, over 85,000 units to the food bank and kids nutrition programs when COVID hit because they needed plant-based proteins that we helped provide, which is about 600,000 servings. But and so that's part of our goal is to expand there as well. So get out more people. We're looking to expand into Europe. And we are starting to look at other products. So we're very close to getting together some new quinoa puffs.
So cool.
Think like a Cheetos, but incredibly healthy and very simple ingredients. And I believe, I'm a little biased, but I believe they'll compete against the best flavors in the market.
That sounds awesome. I know a few co-packers that do that kind of stuff. If you're looking for some connections, we can do that after.
Sounds good.
Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for sharing your story, your health journey and your business journey. And thanks for being a part of Freebruary this year. We really appreciate
Andrew,
it.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for supporting local. And the Freebruary is an awesome idea. It's people within the community that have to do it on the local scene because we don't get much support other ways. And so having individuals like yourself being able to put this together in a professional way that gets the word out there is fantastic. So again, I really appreciate the opportunity and your efforts to make this happen.
Well, thanks.